Hello, everyone. I am Eleftheria from Crabnebula, and today I have the pleasure to have with me Klauss. We will talk with Klauss about his project FocusPocus, and then we will continue talking a little bit about Tauri and the Crabnebula cloud and all of those beautiful things. Let's get started. Hi, Klauss. How are you? Could you please introduce yourself and share a little bit about your background?
Hi, Aleftheria. I'm Klaus. Nice to meet you. I'm a programmer. I manage programmers. I'm a JavaScript programmer actually. Much so less about Rust, but I manage programmers, and I'm actually a front-end programmer. I'm passionate about interfaces and the front-end side of things.
And how did you discover Tauri?
So I had this idea for a long time in my mind that I wanted to build a specific interface app. It had to be local and it had to be um, for the operating system. I'm also a Linux user, so it was quite tough. At the time, I had this idea for years, and I was researching what type of frameworks I could approach. But because I'm a JavaScript developer and I'm a small agency manager, we don't have all the resources in the world. So we came across Tauri when it was in early V1, and we were quite convinced that this could potentially help us. Well, the way we found Tauri was purely by research. I think I found it on on a Reddit thread. Classic.
Hmm. And was it easy for you to start learning Tauri and start building Tauri projects, or was it harder for you?
So Tauri was an interesting choice for us because without Tauri, we wouldn't have even initiated this project given how much complexity we would have had to handle. So Tauri for me was a very difficult choice, but also an amazing choice. The difficult part is I'm not a Rust developer and I will not be a Rust developer. So that doesn't make things particularly easy for us. But if we have to choose make the app or not make the app, then at least we know what we have to deal with.
Hmm.
Um, at the beginning, we wrote the MVP purely trying to use the JavaScript functions, the API that Tauri exposes for the JavaScript side. And it worked decently to have a little floating window here and there. It worked, helped us to set something. So there was a point in time where we had uh, a very bare bone JavaScript code that would just help us look at it and be like, yep, it can look nice. Eventually, we did end up hiring a Rust developer, and turns out that Rust developers are overall better engineers, and we were really happy with the guy, and but then he wasn't particularly very familiar with Tauri. So this is how we this is and then we picked up from there. This was my experience with Tauri.
Thanks for sharing this story with us. I also know that you have been building a Focus Pocus. Do you want to share with us a little bit about this project, how you started with this, what was your initial idea, and also maybe share your screen so we can see better the product?
Focus Pocus was born out of the necessity to remind myself a lot of things because when you manage an agency, you manage people and you manage projects and you manage customers. So you have three very complex dimensions to manage. Um, and I really enjoyed tools like Obsidian and other
Mhm.
tools, but I felt like sometimes I just don't need a huge canvas just to write down a to do. Right? Would you like me to share my screen and show you a bit how that ended up looking like?
Yes, yes, of course.
I'm gonna pause my camera to save some bandwidth. This is it. FocusPocus is a bidirectional link between markdown files and floating windows. So if we are to, let's say, edit this markdown file, and we say we would mark a to do as the for each thing being done, which we can see it over here. You can see that it will immediately rewrite the file with the newest status. If we switch something here, the for each things, let's say, and save it, we will see it updated. The little window gets updated. So, and then we have a front matter because you can set a timer on this little window to disappear. Like if I click on this button, it will go away for 5 minutes. Um, I can also see the history edits of my to-do lists because I kind of forgot like when did I have that task in. It's almost like a Git embedded Git for each single little window. You can share window because you can compress them in a little blob that if someone else, let's say they paste that on in this window, they get they get the they get the same copy. I also wanted to help. I wanted to share functionality because again I'm an agency manager, so I need to share the lists of things with people or instructions or create specific notes for specific purposes. And of course, you can drag them all wherever you want on the screen. You can pin them so they can kind of sit on top of other windows, and you can wrap them so that they don't bother your attention. So you can just kind of do your work and forget about them, and then you can come back to them. And and if you want to go adventurous, the last thing that FocusPocus helps you with is it can help you organize like, oh, suddenly this card became urgent and important, so it will help you color code a little bit the say not urgent and not important. So
That's
now,
nice.
these cards will have a color coding if we start the app. As you can see now, this one became green and this one red. And there's also an edit window because people sometimes they don't use Markdown files, so you can also edit it via this window where you can choose a theme, you can design your own theme, you can choose how the done items they can be visible uh, just like that if you want to have them or invisible. Hidden, you can choose a compact mode which will cut down some like if I turn this in compact mode, it will cut down, it will only allow two visible rows per to do. Um, I can choose to make the card inactive, like completely put it to sleep. You can make it act as a reminder, like come back on a specific date and time. It will just come back in your on your machine. You can edit it. You can have width, font size, opacity, hover opacity. So, um, like how invisible do you want it? Theme, and there's also shortcuts. You can control a lot of things via shortcuts, themes, and you can have your own theme. So that's what all FocusPocus is about. Is pretty much keeping things in front of you at all times.
How long did it took you to create this?
So it took us about 4 to 5 months of daily consistent work to achieve all these features. Yeah.
And I know you obviously used Tauri. Was it Tauri version 1 or 2? And what other technologies did you use to build it?
So we used Tauri V1, and at the moment we are still in version 1. And the version 1 really made us find creative solutions because the version 1 will not allow you to create a little web view with the data already in it. So we had to use a compression algorithm and put it in the URL and then read it from there and so on. We used V1, and I hope one day we will upgrade to V2. Um, we have that in plan, but we don't. We need some help with Rust for that. Again, we are mostly JavaScript developers, so we're looking at Rust with a bit of a curiosity.
Yeah, I get that. Well, the Discord server is quite helpful. So if you have any questions, I think you already know that, but you can ask there. And yeah, people will gladly help you. How many people are in your team? So, how many people are developing this? And is it open source?
So we are about 3 people on this project. Although the amount of people that use this app to manage their daily tasks is higher, it's around 15 people, which is the number of people in the agency. The app is not open source, although I wish for it to be open source. It's just that I want to open source the front end so people can code their own little sticky notes and just change the formats and add whatever they
Yeah,
want
that
to it.
would be nice.
Yeah, I would love to do that. We just don't have enough resources to be able to open source that. We need to think it through. Probably somewhere next year. Um, and it depends how people react to it. We do allow anyone to use this app. So we have a website FocusPocus.io. Um, anyone can go there and request a package with the software, and we send it, and they can just use it.
Yeah, and by the way, for the people that are watching us right now, I will leave all the links that we are mentioning in the description below, so you will be able to find that product on your own. Perfect. And do you have any future plans for Focus Pocus? Is there anything that is coming?
Yes, we are looking into synchronizing sticky notes. So let's say if you want to work with someone and and you want to have a very good synchronization with them, you can have a sticky notes on your screen and a sticky notes on their screen, and those two sticky notes can be the same sticky note synchronized. So when you edit something, they get it. When they edit something, you get it. And I think that's quite cool for intense, immediate tasks, keeping track of tasks at a quick glance. Where are we on the map? So it's quite, we're thinking about that synchronization mechanism. Also, maybe a mobile app as well.
Yeah, that would be nice. These are good ideas. And I have one more question for you. And as we were discussing earlier before starting this video, I know that you have seen Crab Nebula Cloud.
Yeah,
So, what is your experience with it? Have you used it or not? That's still okay. Yeah, would you like to share a little bit about that as well?
sure. So Crab Nebula, I think they made amazing tools for working with Rust, and the cloud will be a very interesting solution for deployment for us in the future once we get a bit more the user base, once we get maybe in the version 2. I've also seen the developer tools, and I think that's where things will shine. I think we will adopt the developer tools a bit earlier than the cloud. At the
Yeah.
moment, we do have a user Windows and the Mac Windows where we build our builds, but I just think that for any, and also open Focus Pocus is not a profit project. It's not a for-profit project. So it's actually a non-profit project. So in that sense, we don't have yet a necessity to build in the cloud, but I think for any commercial product, Crab Nebula's cloud, it's a very uh, potent way to forget about the deployment and focus on the product and then push release to everyone. We've made a very custom setup, very poorly done GitHub deployment. So we're using more of a GitHub infrastructures, but
Mhm.
at some point, we want to migrate to to, to the cloud.
Yeah, there are some differences with GitHub Actions and with Nebula Cloud. We tried to take away these pain points from the developers. That's why we built Cloud. But I also get it that you guys are not a you don't have any profits from this, so that's really fine for open source projects. But it's only for open source. There are some discounts, but yeah, I'm just saying that maybe for the people who are watching us right now. Perfect. I think that was it. Thank you very much for our interview. As I said earlier, I will leave all the links down in the description below so you guys can check them out. Thank you very much. Have a lovely day and see you around.
Hey, thank you.